Hey guys, so today I'm just bringing you a quick adjunct video to my main Atari 5200 video. I mentioned in that video that the controller for the Atari 5200 is one of the weak points of the system durability-wise. I'm going to show you today how to disassemble, reassemble the controller, which can be tricky the first time, as well as how to repair two of the most common problems with these controllers. Now, there are a lot of things that can actually go wrong with these. So I can't promise that your controller is going to work after this. I actually have another controller that has another problem that seems like it's going to need a full refurbishment kit, or at least a new board or something like that. So I'll be doing that one separately. But in this video, hopefully we can at least get this controller to work very cheaply using commonly available materials. You may need to order a couple of things off the internet, but they're very cheap. The first one is this Deoxy D5. This is specifically made to remove oxidation from contacts, and that's one of the big problems that happens with 5200 controllers. I'm going to put a link down in the description for this. You can get this on Amazon. It's about $5 per can, and it lasts you basically forever, just that one can. But it's really useful to have around, not just for this, but for example, if you have a stereo system with scratchy pots or something like that, this will fix that right up. You're going to need some basic Q-tips. You're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver to open it up, and also a small flathead screwdriver. That's very important. And then you may or may not need something like this. You may not need this exact product, but this is a conductive copper tape. You can use this on the keys if you need to, if just cleaning the contacts wasn't enough. But you don't necessarily need copper. You can use aluminum foil and glue. I personally think copper tape that already has the adhesive on it is easier, obviously, but you can just use foil. So let's just get started taking this thing apart. Now, once you've done this a few times, you can actually do it in about a minute. I'm going to stretch this out a little bit for you guys, just so you can see everything that I'm doing. In the back of the controller, there are three Phillips head screws. So we're going to remove those first. And with those screws removed, the controller will just come apart. What you want to do is actually start at the bottom. Don't start up here. That's where the circuit board itself is. It kind of goes across here, and you'll see that in a second. Kind of start at the bottom and just kind of work your fingernails in there and just start pulling it apart. It's just being held together through tension at this point. There aren't any clips or anything like that. Okay, and once you have the bottom apart, you just want to kind of gently pull the top. And you see there the circuit, the flex circuit coming out. So you can take this, you can put it aside for right now. This is the source of most of the problems on these joysticks. It doesn't look dirty, but this is probably fully oxidized. So the first thing you want to do is clean that corrosion off. Now, you don't want to spray the deoxit directly onto the controller. I have sprayed it onto a Q-tip, pointing it away from me. I'm in a basement right now, so I can make a mess. It is going to kind of make a little bit of a mess on your floor, so just be aware of that. And then you just want to go through and clean all the contacts thoroughly. It's going to take going over them a few times. So I'll probably cut away and then come back here. Now, don't forget to do your fire buttons and the top buttons as well. Now, mine all works, so it's not really that necessary, but as long as I'm in here, I'm just going to clean them as well. If you get some of the deoxit down underneath the flex circuit, it's not that big of a deal. This stuff dries really fast. All you really need to do is blow on it. So that's issue one. Now, issue two is these little carbon pads here. Now, yours may look a little different. Not all 5200 controllers look the same, but these are basically carbon pads, and that's supposed to make the electrical connection with the pad on the circuit board. And these just get dirty. Now you can use deoxit on these. It'll just kind of clean them off. I'm going to try just using some Windex today, because you don't really need to deoxidize these carbon pads. You just need to clean them. So apologies for not showing the Windex earlier, but hopefully you have just a bottle of that around somewhere. Now that's basically the whole process for cleaning and maintaining these, and in a lot of cases that is going to be all you need to do in order to get your controller back in working order. In fact, at this point I do recommend just kind of loosely putting your controller back together and testing it, because you may not need to do anything else. I am going to show you one more thing that you can try if this doesn't work, and that is using, well, I have foil tape. You can just try aluminum foil, or you can even try a conductive metal pen that you can probably get in an art supply store. I don't have one myself because I don't need one, but I've heard of people using that. Now what I do, or what I would recommend doing with the tape or with aluminum foil, is I just cut a little square out here that can fit around one of these little pads, and all you need to do is just stick it on there like that. It doesn't need to be pretty, and it's not going to be pretty, but as long as it's stuck on there good. See that? That's one done. You just need to do all of them like that, and that'll help. Well, it won't just help, it'll allow your buttons to make contact. Now, I tried that with my other controller and it still didn't work, which suggests to me that there's nothing wrong with the little contact pad, and there's nothing wrong with the contact itself, which I did deoxidize. So in that case, there's really nothing more you can do other than buy a new flex circuit. You can also buy these that Best Electronics sells these with gold contacts on them. I don't have any of those. I don't see why that would be necessary, but I mean, if you buy a fully refurbished joystick, that's what it's going to have. But just try a new flex circuit. That's the only thing you can do if neither of these work. But 90% of the time, I think one of these solutions or both of them will fix your controller. So now I've got one more thing to show you, which is how to reassemble the controller, because that can be really tricky. And even just to test it, you're going to need to do this. The tricky thing for a lot of people is to get out this top frame. You can't, unfortunately, just slide this part of the flex circuit back in here. There's too much resistance. It won't go. You have to take this out in order to do that. It's really not as difficult as some people seem to think it is. There's a little bit of a trick to it, and I'm going to show you that right now. Now, first, I'm not sure if you can see. Actually, I think you can. There's a little bit of a notch. Let's see if I can find it. There's a little bit of a notch here. What you want to do, let me just refocus the camera. What you want to do is get your little flathead screwdriver in there. You don't have to push, just twist. Pops right out. All that does, twisting that, is unlocks the little tabs on the side of the frame. So it's very easy. And once you've done that, that just slides in there. Now the rest of reassembly can also be a little tricky, but it's not too bad. I'm just going to, in fact, the controller just reassembled itself. There's two little holes in the pad that you kind of want to line up here. And you want to make sure that this middle piece is straight on there. I find that it's actually sometimes easier to get this all set, get everything kind of mostly put together, and then turn the controller upside down for the final part. That's how you can get everything nice and lined up. But sometimes that's not necessary, so let's see. Sometimes it just goes back together. That's it. Now at this point, before actually putting this frame back in, because you do want to avoid too much wear on this, I would just put the buttons back, don't even screw anything together, and just go and test it out. Now again, there's probably about a 90% chance that yours is going to work after that. Mine did not. In fact, neither of mine did. And really the only thing you can do after that, if deoxidizing and cleaning and everything doesn't work, is to just start replacing stuff in the joystick. And the most likely culprit is going to be the flex board itself. I'm going to take this one out because I'm going to replace this anyway. So I'm just going to show you what probably is the problem. These are stuck to the controller, so you have to be, well, you don't have to be careful if you're throwing it away like I am, but these contacts here, if you can see that, that's basically where the flex circuit connects to the controller, which then connects to wires which go into the cable into the system. And these get oxidized, and I've tried to clean these as well. These are a lot harder to clean than the pads, and they're, you know, the inside, the contact just isn't very good. So I'm going to try another flex circuit, and if yours still don't work at this point, then that's really probably the best thing for you to do as well. You can order flex circuits. You can either get them on eBay or you can get them from Best Electronics. That's where I get most of my Atari stuff. They're probably about $10 or less for the tin ones. The gold ones are a little more expensive, but tin I think is fine, as long as you just clean it every once in a while. But mine at this point are just too far gone. So that happens eventually, and you just need to kind of overhaul these controllers, and that's unfortunately what I need. But hopefully you won't. Just get in there, just do some deoxidizing, some cleaning, and hopefully your controllers will work. Anyway, that's it for now. I'll do kind of an update in the description once I actually get the new flex circuit, and I'll let you know if it works, but I'm pretty confident that it will. So that's it for now. I'll see you next time.